Hi, my name is Emily and welcome back to my channel. I'm the mom of two little girls, one who's 4 and one is 7, and the 7-year-old is in 1st grade. Talk about homeschooling, mom life, and faith and culture. Today I'm going to talk about the 5 things that I will never again do as a parent. So the first thing that I'm never going to do again as a parent is set an age for potty training. Now, I have 2 girls right now. Maybe someday I'll have more, I don't know. But setting an age for potty training was a really bad idea. So when I was pregnant with my second daughter, my first was 2.5 years old, and I was on winter break during December from school. So I thought, okay, this might be a really good time to start potty training. Even though I had read that you should wait for your kid to show you signs, I was thinking, well, you know what? Maybe if I do it now, then when my little one is born in a few months, I won't have to be diapering 2 kids. This was probably the stupidest thing I could have ever done. I was thinking, I need to get this done in 2 weeks. We're totally gonna make it work. I've got all the reward systems. I've read all these articles. We're good. But literally, the day after we started, my daughter got sick. Wiser parents would probably think, you know what? Well, they probably would have not tried doing it on their own schedule, but they would have thought, well, the kid's sick, we're not doing this. But I, of course, being a first-time potty training parent, a type A mom, and a woman who only has 2 weeks to do this and make sure her kid gets it, said, let's push on, let's persevere. It was the worst idea ever. I learned from this, do not set an age for potty training. Maybe there's a kid who potty trains super early. Maybe there's a kid who potty trains a little bit later. I've never actually seen a kid go to school or start kindergarten still wearing diapers. The second thing I will never again do as a parent is feel bad for sleep training not working. New moms always receive one of 2 questions when their baby's little. 1, are they eating well? And 2, how are they sleeping at night? My little girls were never good sleepers. I kind of feel like we should be able to give a questionnaire to our husbands' moms to kind of find out what they were like as small children, because that is a definite precursor to what you can expect when you have your own offspring. My husband was not a good sleeper, and I thought that if I did not sleep train my kid, that the rest of their life would be disastrous. We went for many, many months with me not getting a lot of sleep, my kid constantly getting up. I still, with a 7 and 4-year-old, sleep on the floor until they've both fallen asleep because my kids just don't sleep train. My 6-year-old, if she didn't share a room with her sister, would probably be okay with falling asleep on her own. But my little 4-year-old says, Mommy, hold my hand. And that just slays me. So it took me a while to realize these are moments that I'm never ever going to have again. I had to really learn that I can't feel bad or feel guilty, and that some kids really are not able to be sleep trained. And you know what? That's okay. It is what it is. Eventually, my kids will sleep. And I've been lucky that they now sleep in till 7:30. So, you know, there's kind of a win-win there. Third thing I'll never do, again, is put my career above my children. I was a teacher, and we all know that teachers sometimes take work home with them. They grade a lot. There's a lot of stress. There's random emails from psychotic parents. But being a teacher or just being a mom who has to work, we have a lot of distractions. And a lot of the time, those distractions get in the way of having meaningful moments with our kids. I realized finally, after I quit my job and we lived in another state that had a slower pace, that this was such a great idea and I should have done this sooner. And there were certain circumstances at the time where I had to work, but never again would I ever want to have a job that took me away from my kids. They're only this age for a little time. And I remember right before my daughter turned 7, I would sit there and cry because I felt like she no longer is like a little kid. She's now actually a kid, and that was a defining moment. Your kids are small for such a short amount of time. You can always work when they're grown up, but you're never gonna have these moments again. So that was definitely something I learned that I would never ever want to do again as a parent. Fourth thing I will never ever do again as a parent is make a big deal about dinner. Now, I know there's a lot of families where food is a big thing. You eat everything on your plate, you eat things you don't like, but being a former sitting at the dinner table for 3 hours staring at food I didn't like, that's left me with weird food aversions to normal foods. I just, I can't deal with it. Now, this is probably not the best thing. I would not recommend it. But when I was working, the last thing I wanted to do at the end of a day, when I'm tired and my kids are tired, is have arguments about food. So my husband and I would get our dinner kit. I would make a meal for him and me. And then my children would rotate between 5 different meals that they liked. And you know what? They ate it. We were happy. We didn't fight. But then when we moved and we were living in a different circumstance and situation, I started to develop all this guilt because my kids had bad food habits and they wouldn't want to eat things and all this drama, and it stressed me out. And I would be saying to my kids, you need to eat this, you're not leaving until it's done. And this supposedly fun family, dinner time meal where we're supposed to reconnect was me stressing out because they weren't eating like everybody else was. Now, I gotta say, living with my in-laws, my kids now eat anything I put in front of them, which is the biggest blessing. But it did not need to come with me feeling like the food warden that I do now when I'm making a meal that, maybe they don't like, and who cares, we're going to eat it, is I put a friendly food on there that they like, or I'll kid version it where instead of mixing everything together, they'll have a little smorgasbord that they just pick from. So they're technically eating what I made, but I don't have to freak out about, you need to eat it in that way because they're eating it in a way that's accessible for them. So I will not ever again freak out about food or make a big deal about it because, as one of my pediatricians said, as long as your kid gets one good meal a week, consider it a win. The last thing that I'm never gonna do again as a parent is push my kids academically before they're ready. I have always known that my oldest has her own time frame for doing things. She had her own time frame for sleeping through the night. She had her own time frame for potty training. She wasn't even interested in eating solid foods until she was practically 9.5 months. So why should we ever think that we need to push our kids academically before they're ready? Oh wait, that's right. We have a public school system that says everybody learns at the same rate, at the same age. There's no way kids could ever possibly learn at their own rate. So when she was in her second year of preschool, I felt the need to work more with her on her handwriting abilities and, practicing her numbers and identifying them and counting. And this was really, really a struggle for me because when she would show me clear indicators that I'm not ready, let's stop, I'd be like, nope, we're gonna do this more. So when we started homeschooling in kindergarten, I just stepped back and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna practice what I preach. Kids have the ability to know when they're ready to do something. And I think one of the most fascinating things is pouring into your child every day and teaching them skills, and then eventually you just see the light bulb. So when my daughter started becoming a more fluent reader because she just was finally getting it, I was like, this totally works. Oh my goodness. For parents who are thinking, I need to start this now. My kid needs to be sounding out words and reading before they get to kindergarten because they need to get ahead. But ahead for what? When your kid's in public school kindergarten, they're also with kids who've not had parents read to them at night or worked with them on letter sounds. So your kid's not actually moving ahead, but everybody moves at the same rate. So what's the point of pushing them ahead at all to begin with? Take your time with your kids. Play at this age is so much more important than learning letter sounds and recognizing numbers and having perfect printing. That stuff's gonna come, and if it comes a little bit later, that's totally okay. Your child is not in a race against other kids. We have to train ourselves to not think that way. I can't tell you how many kids I saw burn out with the idea that they were stupid because somebody else got something faster than them, or somebody else was in a higher level math class. When our kids think that there's something wrong with them academically, we shut down their learning and they can't learn anymore. I had kids in 7th grade who shut down, and it didn't matter what I said to them. They had a filter and everything went through that. So my encouragement is to just let you know, develop kids who have a lifelong love of learning, who want to learn, because it doesn't matter what age they are, they can continue learning. But what will matter is that they feel cornered or pressured, they're going to shut down and they're not going to learn. If you like today's topic, make sure to hit subscribe below. And if you have a parenting lesson that you've learned that you're never going to do again, share it in the comment box. I'd love to read about it. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Bye.